Yeah. Be live or not?
YouTube live now. I just got a notification.
Yes, but is it live? Oh, yes, it is live now. Okay, it took such a long time. There you go. All right, great, 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 great. Oh gosh, we are really feeling this delays today. Okay, hello everybody online. Hello Grace. Hello Soulstar. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody that's joining us in the chat. All right, so as I was saying, Friday was such a powerful day, and I'd love to hear how you guys are feeling this energy. But you know, the way that I work with information is not it's not necessarily like a channeling, like information is coming in, but it's more like a navigation into different dimensional realms. And essentially, when you tune in to these dimensional realms, you exist in those dimensional realms simultaneously as yourself. And so my invitation during this time is to familiarize yourself with existing in these dimensional expressions and to explore them, to connect with them, to communicate with them as much as possible in order for you to tune into the different language of frequency that is available as you tune into the different layers of yourself. And the purpose for this and why it's so powerful and so helpful is because you begin to understand the subtleties of your own field and how information is relevant to you at that time now. We also, because we are connecting with our physical body and with our multidimensional body and navigating in this way, you are also tuning in to the subtle movements of cosmic bodies as well as the earth, how earth is moving, how it's navigating. And this ability to connect to these dimensional layers in this subtle way of fine tuning into that communication um, allows you to learn and feel the earth and the universe through your body, through the states that we're going through collectively. Now, I've mentioned this many times. We are moving in a spiral movement in this multiverse. And through that spiral movement, we are entering into, we've already been entering, but we're reaching into that beginning phase of the highest points of frequency collectively. And we're just entering this window starting in April. We're going to see some major changes happening. And I've been seeing April for many years, that April 2023 will be really the major shift for many things for us. And on Friday, tuning into the field, it is almost as if a new energy entered into the entire universe. And we are leaving this heavy, heavy cloud of a different kind of energy, of a red energy, which is kind of a phase that we have been going through for the past 3-4 years. This resulted in people having a difficulty connecting with their higher self, a difficulty in meditation, sitting in meditation for long times, a difficulty communicating with the higher self. And a lot of people felt severed. The invitation over the past 3 years was to look at the physical realm, to connect more with the physical realm, and to begin to understand your relationship to that. How do you master the physical? Are you mastering the physical? For many of us light workers that are here, it's easy for us to be in the fields, but it's difficult to integrate into the physical. And we haven't mastered all of our shadows in a way that allow us to navigate the physical realm in a way that is productive, expansive, and in that fluid state. We want to learn how to navigate the physical realm in as much fluidity, with a sense of complete connection to the body. You see, how you enter into that is by coming into unconditional love, but unconditional love is not what we think it is. It is not safety. We reach as human beings, we seek safety. We seek somewhere to be secure, calm, comfortable. We look for that. And what we're experiencing here, and what we kind of chose to experience collectively during this incarnation, this current simultaneous timeline, is how not to be in comfort zones. That's the whole point of this human experience. Because when you're experiencing contrast, you have to be able to move through the different phases. And so we have sought comfort, and the world has created tremendous turmoil in a way to clean up and to be aware of everything that is outside of that comfort zone. So this phase that we're going into is being okay with releasing that need to be comfortable, that need to be safe. It's a really interesting energetic dance, because what I see is just people just kind of grasping on to things that are so their own stagnation, their own fears, their own blockages, their own things that cause them suffering, things that cause them harm. We want to hold on to it, simply because it's something that we're familiar with. But as soon as you let go of that, it's like you can begin to explore something different. So essentially, what we want to train in these next couple months coming into April, I really highly invite you to come into this practice of taking a look at yourself and the parts that have a difficult time coming into that releasing, into that fluidity. And what does that fluidity mean? Let's break that down, because we hear that word at a lot, but what does it mean embodied? We have to work with our nervous system and the trigger parts of us that become triggered through situations, and nurture it in such a way that what is nurturing is the unknown. Okay, how do you make the unknown nurturing to the human? The human has to see themselves as everything and never get stuck as seeing themselves as any one thing, because the identity that we come into is kind of our death. Any kind of identity we come into, we have a danger of being stuck there. And this is very important for those of you that are star seeds, that are really open to your interdimensional simultaneous aspects that exist in dimensional planes of, let's say, Pleiadian consciousness, Arcturian consciousness. All these kinds of aspects of yourself must be explored. We must become familiar with them by whatever name they might be. The way that I'm referring to them are your dimensional ranges of frequency and expressions. And we have access to them through our dream time, through our astral projection. But also what's happening now is that those two separate departments are beginning to merge. And this is something that's really important, because as we're moving through this heightened vibrational frequency, what's happening is that the heavy density is now opening up to begin to align with higher dimensional frequencies, which means that they will merge, which means we have access to them in our waking state. So many of you that are tuning into your everyday experience are getting awareness of that presences, which the presence is the awareness of your extension of your vibrational frequency. That dimensional plane of yours is becoming conscious. And so the work of interlinking your awareness and your attention to these dimensional planes is what will allow you to essentially train yourself to navigate them. And the awareness that we have to have, the level of awareness that has to be held during this awareness and navigation, is you need to understand what your body wants to do when you connect with these unknown things, and how to be okay with that constant change. Okay. So the nervous system is very important. And secondly, we want to let go of any identity belief systems. Okay, because anytime that we identify, and this happens a lot in the spiritual realm, even the idea of being good, or the idea of being light or well, or joyful or happy, all of those things can filter the way that you see things. So my invitation is that you train to come into neutrality as much as possible. The neutral observation. From that neutral observation will emerge um, a new level of emotional ranges for humans that we're learning about. So this is the other thing I want to talk to you about, that during this time, we are entering a new level of frequency language, a higher octave of emotion ranges that many of us have not been familiar. Many humans right now, we are learning how to become familiar with peace. We're learning how to become familiar with love, compassion, the embodiment, the feeling, the actual embodiment of that, the actual action and behavior, expression of these emotions is a different thing than conceptualizing. And the practical application of these emotions is a completely different thing that opens up the layers of your chakra into another octave of a language of frequency. It's another level of communication, which requires the higher faculties, because love is an interdimensional language, not relationship love. This is the collective love. This is unconditional love. This is a creative life force. And it is a higher dimensional octave of language that exists within the higher layers of your space. So that means that we need to expand our light. We need to grow our light. What does it mean to grow the light? That you become aware of the blockages in your subconscious mind, because the subconscious is the outer layers of your field. The subconscious is the layers behind you of your body, the back of your body that you haven't addressed or become familiar with. So these subconscious aspects of ourselves are the ones that we have to take a look at. They're the ones that we have to work with at this time. And to bring light to them means that in meditation, you actively identify where those are and, familiarize yourself with them. So this new language that we're talking about in this higher octave is something that requires the integration of mind, body, and your soul in a way that the three-dimensional aspects of yourself, physical, non-physical, and energetic, super important, physical, non-physical, and energetic. This is where the triad, you can say, of integration of humanity and cultivation of the human physical body on the highest level is now coming into play. So it's the cultivation of the new human. We are shedding like a snake the old way of holding frequency in the body into a new way of language. And so this requires a profound awareness. And those of you that are here with me here today are, you guys are already been doing this work for a very long time, not only in this lifetime, many lifetimes. Otherwise, this language would feel very foreign to you. And so at this time, what we want to do is take a look at how we can, what are the parts of us that are afraid of coming in to our most powerful expression. And what I mean by powerful is most in tune, the one that is available to love unconditionally, because it requires a certain amount of courage to love at this level. And that is the part of us that loves unconditionally is the part that has to be connected with. So in today's meditation, we want to take a look at that, because this is where we begin to uncover those layers in the further reaches of our dimensional expression. And we are going to be working with that because it's going to allow us to prepare. So before I begin, I want to open the floor for questions. And I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat here in the Zoom. Hello, everybody. So wonderful to see you. Amazing. Sperry, you have a question?
I just love the quality and depth and articulation of your wisdom that you're sharing, Geraldine. And as a coincidence, over the last couple of days, but especially strong this morning, has been this being able to bring back into focus this unconditional love, which is undivided attention, where this mirror-like awake awareness is aware of itself as formless. In the mind, there is no mind. So the no mind is known by the mind. I think that's sort of what you're, in a sense, you're pointing to, is that, and this has been said for thousands of years, in Buddhism and Hinduism, in the mind, there is no mind. And I think what we're going through, in my experience, is that the physical human body, heart, and mind has taken a long time, whatever, millennia or centuries, to learn to recognize what is not a thing and is not a self. It's not divided by space or time, energy or matter. It is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient by being indivisible as no thing whatsoever. And that seems to be anathema to the ego that wants to grip onto something for security. And so in this body, heart, and mind, recognizing the absence of self, the absence of mind, and being able to integrate, so they go together like left hand and right hand, holding each other effortlessly. There is silence, there is thoughtless awareness and freedom from identity. I wonder if that accords with what you're talking about.
Yes, of course. We want to, so the identity, right? So that's actually what we're talking about. Anytime that we come into an identity of any kind, that's kind of where it's our death, essentially. It becomes our death. It limits us because it becomes a filter of perception, and it's a ceiling, essentially, to what you are, because we are all things simultaneously. We are infinite potential. So being infinite potential means that because we are creator beings and because we exist simultaneously on many dimensional planes, we have access to all of these parts of us here in this self. The more we connect with this physical body, the more we cultivate the physical body, we can connect in with these parts of us immediately. We can access that information. And therefore, we want to move away from the identity because, and this is difficult for the ego, because the ego wants to have something to do. It wants to know that its existence is worthy and valuable. And in a dualistic dimension that we're in, to experience contrast, the only way to experience that is by identifying something and another, so this is what the experience of coming into this incarnation is about. It's breaking that illusion, because it is essentially an illusion, in order to see yourself as the whole. So that's really what we're coming into. Shirley says, question, can you describe what happens when a person transitions from one octave to another? What is different? What is the same? Okay, excellent question. You see, it's not so much that we are moving into an entire new octave, one octave. That's the thing, because we are multidimensional. So I want you to think of yourself as a bubble with many layers. That's how the body actually looks like. And the many layers of the body are the dimensional expressions of yourself as yourself existing in those dimensional layers. Every layer is you in another dimensional plane. And we are constantly moving in and out. Those layers are not separate, just separate layers. They are interdimensional and intermeshing with one another, and we are moving in and out of them. In fact, it's not even that we go entirely into one dimensional plane. Different parts of ourselves have access to different aspects of those dimensional layers. So for example, I'll give you an example. When we have a blockage, let's say in the liver, the blockage that we have in the liver is thought forms, crystallized vibrational frequency that exist in the first, second, third, wherever we have points of vibrational frequency information crystallized in that liver is layers. There's many layers. The many emotions that you have in the discomfort of the stagnation in the liver are going to tell you the frequencies, because emotions are frequencies. So the many emotions that you have stored within that one part of your body helps you understand in how many dimensional layers you are holding on to the density of that energy. Okay, so let's say in that liver, you have fear, anxiety, self-doubt, and mistrust in the collective. Okay, so immediately your root, your sacral, your heart, and your crown are all part of the stagnant information in the liver. So this part of your body is constantly moving in those ranges of your body up to the level of stagnation that you're able to reach with this crystallized thought form. When you dissolve that, you release the stagnation and you allow that liver to now be able to access higher dimensional layers of your field. And this is how you heal the body, because we are a network of energy that anywhere that we have stagnation in the body becomes a blockage. So the more you clear out of your body, resistant thought forms, traumas, disconnecting thoughts, expressions, belief systems, when we dissolve that, this is how you begin to expand as and in all of these dimensional layers. And we are moving in and out of them at all times, all layers that we have access to through our vibrational resonance. And that's as a whole and as individual parts of you. But let's talk about the subconscious and the psychological effects of what happens when you enter into a new octave. You enter into a new octave as a result of the trauma healing that you're doing, the shadow work, which changes your frequency. When you do shadow work, when you integrate a part of you, even just one tiny little thought form, you release several layers of your entire organism, because information and trauma is stored within the cells, within the DNA of the body, and that information is making up your entire holographic system. So when you dissolve one thought form, you begin to release that from this collective system, and that changes your frequency. I call it your signature, your vibrational signature. That vibrational signature is essentially the color that we're putting up here in the crown, because the level of your signature will define your level of awareness. Yeah, that's where you see the world. Remember, creator states that we're at. Your vibrational signature is your creator state. That's what I want to make very clear. So that means where you're looking at the world from. Are you in survival victim mode, separation mindset, or are you in unity consciousness and one with the collective? Okay, so that's a different way of seeing the world, seeing yourself. So these different ranges of existence then are what allow you to be in resonance with higher octaves. The more you change the way you see yourself in the world, your vibrational signature is matching higher dimensional layers, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10, up into however high you wish to go. You have access through your field, which intermeshes your reality. And you become more intuitive, which means that you pick up things. So the being that is standing right here from the 11th dimensional plane, now you can see it, you can interact with it. It doesn't mean it wasn't there before. It was there. It's in your field because it's a part of you, it's an expression of you, but you weren't be able to tune into that like a radio station because your frequency isn't at that resonance. So how do we know that we are going into this new octave? Well, you clearly know, first of all, because you come into neutrality, you are less triggered by the things around you. You are able to hold peace in your body in a very substantial, interconnected way. And that allows you to be able to navigate fluidly higher dimensional expressions. Your body is healthy. You are communicating with your body. And in dream time, you're becoming lucid, very lucid. You remember your dreams, you become aware of what you're experiencing in those dimensional planes. Dreams are you navigating other dimensional planes. That's what dreams are. And there are different levels of consciousness that we access and remember dreams, but they are extremely important to you because they allow you to understand your level of consciousness and what you're doing, where you're going, where you're at. The more that you're active and you remember that dream navigation, the more you're going to understand what you need to be doing in this world, this physical, or what you're not doing in this world. Because everything you're not doing in the physical, you're doing in this astral plane. Okay, and the other part is how you manage energy. Okay, are you a victim of your environment or are you in a state of co-creation, which means that you are now utilizing life force to regenerate not only the body, but you shift and you can change experiences utilizing your vibrational frequency. This is now coming into this master level of human, which is now co-creating very consciously. So this is the higher state of existing, and the higher octave means neutrality in the ability to navigate higher dimensional planes simultaneously while you're awake, while you're working, while you're doing anything. It's a heightened level of awareness. So these are some little pointers that can maybe assist you in understanding where you're at. But pay attention to the emotions, because the emotions are always the output of what you're accessing, and they're also the limit. So if you come into frustration and anger, you're limiting your vision. It cuts off because your vibrational resonance can't see the 11th dimensional being or information that is available to you. You're not in resonance. So emotions are the way to unlock your ability to access this information. Okay. Karen says, you mentioned that yesterday or Friday was the start of a major shift. What happened and caused that shift? Did the new moon have meaning? Well, it's not even about the new moon. It's about the celestial, just like our physical bodies, we have different vibrational frequencies. And as we do shadow work, the resonance of this entire organism changes. So remember that everything is micro macro. Okay, you are a fractal of the universe. Whatever's happening in your body is a picture of what's happening in the greater universe, and vice versa. Okay, so the more people are unconscious and dormant, they're not going to be aware. They're not going to be very connected with nature, which means they're not connected with cycles of the earth, nor cycles of this multiverse. The more aware you are, the more connected you become with nature, the cycles of the universe, and the movement of these cosmic energies and how they affect. And I'm not only talking about astrology. Astrology is one language, especially in the way that it's translated for us here, but it is a wonderful way to read the collective DNA of this earth. It's like first layer of information of the collective earth. And it allows us to understand the energies that are available in our space for us to work with. But my invitation to you is don't use astrology for that. You get into meditation and read through your body, because that will be your highest truth. Most accurate truth is what you experience through your body. So what is happening is that we are shifting. And of course, in my healing sessions during the week, things that have come up and openings for people. finally being able to meditate, finally being able to connect, finally being able to see, to sense, to feel. So all of these expansions and heightening of our senses means that collectively in the net, things are refining as a collective vibrational frequency. And so, and of course, I see it because I have this ability to navigate these realms, as we all do. But we're moving out of a very dense phase. And the most primitive way of saying that is that we're moving from the imbalanced and wounded masculine into the feminine. Okay. But these are both wounded. The feminine and the masculine have been wounded, have been suppressed. Where we're going is into a healing of those two collective energies. And when you heal the feminine, the product is heightened intuition, because the feminine is the conduit and the connection to the all. It is the womb of creation. You can only create when you know what you're going to create, what you're going to manifest. Only that clarity can create life in its purest, most conduit form. So we collectively, as we heal the feminine, we're all coming in to this conduit energy, the conduit energy of creation. So this is what we are kind of embodying in the body. You're healing your wounded feminine, which is you're reconnecting the intuitive parts. You are building trust with yourself. And this is a new era for humanity. Because in addition to healing the wounded intuition, is that you are opening the eyes were looking down only at the physical, only at survival. You begin to open your eyes to the collective. You see your brothers and sisters around you, and you become very aware of the collective energies that have been suppressed, manipulated, distorted. You begin to see where illusion meets this new way of seeing this reality. So this is kind of what's happening right now. And the way that I'm seeing it is a new light is entering into this cosmic environment, into the cosmic climate. It is like a whitish blue light. It is a different vibrational frequency. And those of you that are entering into this Aquarian, it is the birth of the Aquarian phase, are born encoded with very important work that needs to be done here. So you need to pay attention to where that Aquarian awareness lies within you, so that you understand your contribution. And the contribution is your healing. You know, once you heal those parts of you that have been wounded, you can access the gifts that you're able to share with the world. So this is essentially what we are now coming into. And this is the level of awareness that we have to have with ourselves. What about the spleen, as in spleen pain? Yeah, so every single organ is going to tell you an important information about where you're at emotionally and what you're holding at, what you're holding on to in stagnation. Okay, let me see if I have that. Oh, I do have it here. So I can just show it to you once again, just looking at the physical bodies and the elements of which we are working with our energetic bodies, essentially. This will give you a little bit of guidance into some of the emotional connections to the major organs in the body that cause stagnation, okay, and also expansion. So the spleen is one of the most important because they are the main organs, and this is about working with your anxiety, trigger symptoms, things that cause major anxiety in your body, which means you don't feel safe, you're in survival mode, and your connection to peace is very thin. It's uncultivated peace in the body. So we need to learn to heal the spleen, how to embody peace, what needs to be let go of, what needs to be allowed. How do we maintain balance? How do we create balance, harmony in the body, harmony with our external experience? Anytime we are at war internally and with the external, your entire system will go out of balance, because we are an interconnected system of harmony. That this is how you become aligned with nature. Nature functions in the way of balanced intelligence, an intelligence that is formed around maintaining harmony and balance. And when it goes into that state of harmony and balance, then nature flourishes, and it allows death and life whenever it needs to exist in order to maintain that balance. The plant doesn't cry when it starts to wilt away. It accepts that journey and continues into the cycle of death for new life to begin to emerge. So in that same way, we have to look at our life really, really powerfully. Things that come, things that go, things that are born, things that are nourished, things that are growing within us. We have to be fertile ground. What does it mean to be fertile? Your creative state, the integration, the father and mother uniting into that divine alchemical marriage in order to become a creator. That's the only way you become a creator, by coming into that fertility state of possibility, infinite possibility. Vanessa says, I've had so many dreams I've been recalling lately. Excellent, very relevant, as I have had some difficulties in my liver. Oh, well, excellent. It's wonderful to become aware, because the body is speaking to you. This is the thing. We are so disconnected from our physical bodies that we don't listen when something starts coming up. Nico says, Geraldine, is it possible for us to download copy of this map? Yes, actually, I do have it available on my website that you can access. Oh, and I also have to tell you that I was able to reinstate the challenge with all of the communications, all of the videos, and all of the slides on my website. And you are welcome to access that. And it took a long time because I didn't know how to do it. But now I was able to do that. So let me share that with you briefly, because some of you might be interested in that. So if you go where you were to your courses and you go to challenges, I hope it's here. Yeah, 30-day transmutation. So here you go. This is the old one, the one that completed and closed. So you won't be able to access that. But when you enter into this one, it has unlimited lifelong access to all of your slides, all of the days, the steps, all the informations that we talked about. It's all there. So you can access the slides through here. The other way that you can access it is through events, and you go to 30 Days Alchemical Challenge, and you have all the slides here. Okay, every single one, including that one that we were just looking at right now. It's available to you here so that you can access this information. Oh, there it is, and study it and work with this. It's very important that you become familiar. And another thing that I was thinking of this week is that any of you that have a hard time visualizing things, get to know your body. Okay, if you know, because of the amount of trauma that we've experienced in our lives and the amount of disconnect from our physical bodies, because we've been told we need to be in survival mode, our attention can't be in the body in a state of peace. It has to be making sure that we are safe at all times, and we're going to survive the next event. Can be parents arguing, rowdy children at school. We are redirecting that attention into understanding that we create that peace within us. And how we do that, because of that trauma, we've severed the communication with the organs and with the body. So I invite you to study the anatomy of the body. And this is something that really was really powerful in my early journey. But I was able to study my anatomy because I had activated my intuition after my abduction in 2013, my experience that allowed me to open up my vision. And when I was able to look at my organs, I could see how energy was moving through them. I was able to see what pain looked like in the body. So, but this isn't something that you can do yourself. You don't need to have this heightened awareness. Look at a map, take a look at the organs, understand how things are moving through the body. It will help you see your body and feel your body and make that connection between feeling and vision. For those of you that have a hard time visualizing your body for healing, okay? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Kevin, for putting that. You're the best. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Esteban. Yes, thank you very much. Let me come over here and let me see if there's any more questions. Anyone else have any questions? Anything that you are struggling with that I can help you with? How can I be of service to you is my question. That's what these lives are for. So let me see who else has. Please put your questions in capital letters. Welcome. Ice Lily, Sophie, Grace, Cedric, having awareness of the content as an observer in pure consciousness in form of alien contact. In a form of alien contact. Yeah. Cedric, I'm not sure I understand. Is this a question? Grace, do you have a PayPal link? I do. You can also use the super chat if you need that. It is such a fulfilling feeling. I love you. Thank you. Thank you, Grace. Thank you so much. You have already helped so much. Awesome. All right. So question says, why do I still feel so tired after a good night's sleep? Is it because we're active in the astral? Yes, but there's also many other reasons for that. There's also many other reasons for that. And one of them is that we're not doing proper energetic hygiene before we sleep. Okay, this is a big one. People have a disconnect with their body throughout the day. And at nighttime, everything that we have picked up 360 degrees and not been aware of is still in your space. It doesn't go away. Okay, so at nighttime, even if you fall asleep because your body is tired, energetically, it's completely alive in your space. So this is why nightly hygiene is really important before you go to sleep, that you're aware of the things that you have in your space, what you connected with emotionally, physically, mentally, energetically through the day, and that you are consciously choosing to interact in the way that you are in this moment. Okay, because everything that you interact with all the time is connected to. Anytime that you've applied meaning to something, anytime that you made a judgment about something, you are connected. You're making a connection. So we need to take a look at that. And this is where we go up to the next level of maturity. We talked about new octave, a frequency, is the person that is aware of that and does something about it, works with it. So do we want to be connected with that judgment? How is it supporting us? Is there a mutual exchange, or is it draining and not in alignment with us? And if it is, neutralizing. You neutralizing it by neutralizing your judgment. That in itself is a healing. So let's say you saw something randomly online yesterday that you were just looking at, and you had this subconscious belief that, gosh, that's terrible that happened, or that's horrible, or it caused this feeling of anxiety within you. So immediately we need to revisit that moment and question your judgments, the meanings that you applied to what you saw. Okay, is it true? This is number one question. Is it true that this experience is bad or negative? Okay, and take a look at that. This is how we train and we teach ourselves. We reprogram ourselves from having belief systems that are black and white in a state of complete dualistic understanding and expanding into universal consciousness. The journey from that dualistic perspective into universal consciousness observation is the expansion of your light body. That's the expansion of your light body. So that's why that work is incredibly important for you. I catch my self-awareness of my thoughts, but I don't know what to do when I have a bad thought. How to erase bad thoughts. Right, exactly. So this is what I was just saying, that essentially we are learning how to embody neutrality. How do we embody neutrality? How do we come from judgment to neutrality? And so the journey of that is to look at your emotions. The judgments that you have towards something, are those your belief systems 100%, or are they things that you've adopted as a survival mechanism from childhood until now? That's the first question I would ask. How much of your judgment is a survival mechanism? How much of your judgment comes from fear? How much of your judgment comes from seeing this thing as another, separate from you, or as a threat to you and your existence, your safety and your comfort? That's the number one question I would ask. And as you identify that in your relationship and the fear that you feel, the next step would be to work with the fear, the part of us that believes that we are separate. And we're going to fact check that. Okay, is it true? And what about what you're looking at makes you feel uncomfortable? Because what happens is this, that whatever you're seeing that you're judging, let's say something really terrible, let's say someone harms someone else, the trigger that's causing you is a subconscious part of yourself that is in resonance with that action, with that belief, with what is occurring. And many of you are going to hear that, and you resist that so much. You say, no way, I would never harm something, I would never cause the harm to something. But you see, deep within our subconscious layers of our emotions, deep within our angers, deep within the parts of us that are angry about injustice in the world, there are layers of our own self that have touched those thoughts, that have touched those feelings, those same emotions, those same expressions. And all of that lies within you. So we need to look at that. The more that you ignore that exists within you, the greater your trigger will be every moment that you see something that you resist is coming up. Because the reason why it's come up in your reality is because it's a reflection of you. And this is oftentimes one of the most difficult things for people to understand. When I meditate, can I imagine very quickly a shield, flowing energy, or clearing a room of contracts? Why does it happen quickly? Am I really clearing, or am I not going deep enough? Rebecca, that's amazing that you can imagine it quickly. And the question is good. It's happening really quickly. So is it really happening? This is a great question, because you want to understand meditation work at this level. This kind of meditation is a full body meditation. It's not just visualization, and it's not imagination. You are reading your body. And when it's easy for us to remove things, when you're connected to your body, it means that you're in alignment with the release. Your whole body is in alignment. When the whole body is in resistance, or when there's a part of you, the mind says yes, but the subconscious mind is not ready yet. Let's say the liver is in a lot of pain, and it doesn't want to let go of that pain yet. It doesn't want to release that pain. It keeps the pain in your body. This is for people that have chronic pain, chronic illnesses. Why are you not healing? Same kind of question. Because a subconscious part of you still thinks it needs that pain for something. There's still a purpose for that. And we need to understand what it is. Why do we believe we need that pain? In the same way that you remove things from your body quickly, if your body is in agreement with letting go of that, then it's going to go very quickly. But if there's any part of you that thinks it still needs that blockage or that thought or that contract, it's going to keep reappearing in your body. But what happens with deprogramming essentially is that you will no longer see contracts. And it's so amazing. There came a point in my meditation that all of the contracts that I was working so many years in dissolving have completely disappeared. And this is another example of entering into another octave. When those contracts disappeared, I began to see my life and my human experience from a higher level. It was seeing myself and the collective, and my choices and my perception of the world was about what is good for the collective. It was no longer about what's good for me, for my ego, for my pain, for my survival, for my fears. It was about what's good for me, health, well-being, balance, and the collective. It's a completely different perspective. That's what happens when you break those contracts collectively. So now that I have shared this with you, Rebecca, review this information and take a look at your relationship with what you're releasing. Are you bypassing what you're looking at, or is your whole body in alignment? Have you felt into what's being released? Because you need to know what's being released. It's not just enough to do that. We need to do the shadow work, the emotions that create food for those contracts to exist, meaning and reasons for those contracts to exist, because contractual agreements are the subconscious mind protecting itself in the physical of duality, in the dimension of duality. Do you think that sometimes we pass on blockages in our own bodies to our pets? Yes. And I think I talked briefly about pets before, but pets are a very, very interesting dynamic energetically. People that have pets, and in the same way that people have children, now bear with me, here, this is what I mean by that, that our pets are an extension of ourselves, just like the children are an extension of ourselves, but there's different agreements there. And the reason why I'm comparing them here is because I want you to note something. The relationship that you have with your pet, animals are existing in the present at all times. They are in the present. This is in a field of energy and frequency. When a human adopts a pet, they have an opportunity and an invitation to train themselves, and it's for the purpose of that, to learn how to come into the present moment. Every time they connect with the pet, through the senses of the body, through the emotions, they bring themselves into the present moment in alignment with the animal. But if the human at the same time, this is why, because animals belong in nature, no animal should be in captivity. This is the law of the universe. We should live in harmony with all living beings, and they should be in their place. Okay, so this idea of cultivating pets is an attachment that humans create to animals. And we need to understand the responsibility behind that. There's a karmic responsibility behind that. If we're not doing our shadow work and understanding the relationship that we have with the animal and the lessons that they're bringing and triggering in us for healing, we put a lot of burden on the animal. Whatever illness we don't take, the little animal can absorb. And the animal will take this karmic. I see this every single time. It is just unbelievable. That the relationship, the amount of love that this being brings into this dynamic, the compassion that the animal has created in its agreement to exist with you. And I learned this profoundly through my relationship with my own animal. My animal passed away now, but the agreements when I looked into the field were amazing. And it was agreements with every person in my family circle that was connected with the animal. Every human has a role and participation. So when you drop the ball and when you go into dormant state and you don't do your healing work, the animal can take that on. It can develop an illness. It pulls the illness from the body. And yeah, so take a look at your relationship with your pet, and take a look at your part. You have a part there, that you're a role that you're playing. It's a vice versa. The contractual agreement with the animal is vice versa energetically. I have been sleeping from the full moon from 7:30 p.m. till 12 a.m., then straight through till 6:30 a.m. I usually only sleep 4 to 5 hours. Is this my body releasing to the new energy, realigning to the new energy? Well, different levels of sensitivity will align and change with the universal energies. People that are becomes very sensitive to moon phases and celestial bodies. But what's really important with this sleep cycles is that you understand and you do energetic hygiene so that when you're ready to go to sleep, your body is prepared to recover. And hopefully, you are recovering your life force during the times of 10 and 2 a.m. Those are the most restorative times for the body, for the organs. Again, going back to that image, there's a certain hour for every organ to regenerate during that time. And it depends on your hemisphere. Okay. Whatever hemisphere you're at, this clock functions in the same way. It's the hours closest to the sunset for you, wherever you are in the world. It doesn't even have to look at those hours. Whenever after the sun goes down, because this is the cycle of nature. When you're in alignment with that cycle of nature, your body comes into nourishment, regeneration, and restoration. So this is really, really important. All right, guys. One last question and we go into meditation. My dreams are very lucid and I'm beginning to astral project. I'm worried there's a part of me that could be harmed by entering these new dimensions. How can I expand, but first trust that I'm safe? Excellent question. Absolutely perfect state to be in, especially at this time, because this is what we need to know, right? And a lot of people struggle with this. Okay, this is the initiation that is occurring at this time for every human being. This question that you're asking, Karen, because how do we enter into these states when we are so physical, when we are so having these programs of separation into unity? It requires unity consciousness to enter into these dimensional planes, because we need to be able to see whatever thing we see in these realms to be a part of ourselves. We need to be able to connect with that. So lucid dreaming, first of all, the more aware you are in your waking state, every moment, bring yourself back into awareness. Right now, are you aware of your body? Are you aware of your emotional state? Are you aware of what your abdomen muscles are doing? Most of our energy is drained through this abdominal solar plexus. It's the house of self-empowerment. And when muscles are contracted there without our awareness, we are holding on to a lot of emotional data, which blocks your ability to enter higher dimensional planes to begin with. So if you are training the bodies, your nervous system, the muscle system of the body, your survival mechanisms, trigger points, okay? When you're training this is how you begin to heal the body, so that when you go into dream time, this will merge. It will go into your dream time. You'll be able to practice that same level of awareness. So as soon as you become lucid in your dream time, what I want you to do is to connect with your body immediately. This astral body of yours. I want you to begin to become familiar with it. How does it feel immediately in that dream to be where you exist in this realm? And what that will help you do is that it will strengthen, because we have senses on a higher octave in the non-physical body, has a whole different range of senses. Okay. And this is something that not many people talk about, but we have another anatomy structure when we're in the astral plane out of body, because it's not about these processing, eliminating organs anymore. It's about conduits of energy and using the senses to filter frequencies, very refined frequencies. So what has to happen in these astral planes is that we have to tune into the senses. Which one of your senses is most heightened when you are in your astral body? How many of you are aware of that? Okay, because when you're in the astral plane, that will help you understand your gifts and your powers and the kind of events that you're experiencing, because the events that you're experiencing in the astral plane are meant to enhance these tools that you have. It's training. You are training yourself. Okay. So by that being said, utilize your crown. I have so many different techniques I want to share with you right now. I'm trying to pick which ones would be most relevant to this question. In the astral body, and I guess I'll have to do a presentation on this, the astral body has different anatomy. The astral body works with higher octaves. It has access to heart, throat, third eye, and then the higher octave chakra system. So in order to navigate the higher octave, we need to activate 7th, 8th, 9th up until the 11th dimensional plane. I want you to have these on when you're navigating in the astral plane. And you're going to utilize that for your discernment. So as soon as you see something, you're going to shine these crown lights on top of what you're seeing, and you're going to ask for the symbol to appear. You're going to create a symbol that represents something that is in high alignment with you, or something that is not in so much in alignment with you. And this will help you navigate and discern who you're interacting with. However, what do you do when what you see is not so good? Okay. It is the shadow parts of you that need to be looked at. So what we need to do is work with the emotions that become triggered by what you're seeing. You need to, the same way that in waking state, you become aware of your emotional triggers, I want you to become aware of them in your astral body. And this is where you're going to understand it's a different octave of emotions. And because you are non-physical, you don't experience death or the concept of death in the same way. So a good way to train that is by exercising your relationship with death in waking state. This programs and activates a new part of the brain, a new network of the brain, and it connects from the amygdala through a very fine net that moves out through the back part of the brain. Let me see if I have a brain chart here. And this connects up into the 11th dimensional plane, which essentially is what allows you to enter into gamma states. When you enter into the gamma state triggered by this brain state, you are literally able to expand your energetic field in that higher dimensional plane. Okay, so it is a little thread that moves, like, funny enough, exactly where this little arrow is, but right here through this lower plane, this point here connects to the 11th dimensional layer. The 11th dimensional layer is what is basically entering into the DNA field of the collective universe, of the multiverse. And what that does is that it helps you to expand your field into that realm. So whatever you're interacting with in these higher dimensional planes, you're going to begin to connect into that network. This will create empowerment for you in dream state. It will create a really powerful empowerment for you. And it creates a discernment filter for you. Okay. Very good. Oh my gosh, Kevin, you are on it. He just put the video for energetic hygiene bedtime. Thank you. You're so amazing. Love you. My gosh, it's so great. Thank you. All right. So my loves, let's get into the meditation and then we're going to come back to more questions. Okay. All right. So let's start by getting really nice and comfortable. And we're going to start by inhaling deeply. Breathing deeply into the base of the spine, breathing in through the back of the throat, through the nose. Begin to put your tongue up into the palate of your mouth. And as you breathe in through the nose, feel the air moving in the back of your throat, back of your tongue. Feel the air entering into the chest here, massaging the thymus with the oxygen that you're breathing and inhaling into the body. Activating the thymus. Going down into the chakra between the heart and the solar plexus. The Aquarian era is the activation of this chakra. This chakra between the heart and the solar plexus is your tool for this new era that we are entering into. It is the activation of the new anatomy of the human body. So I want you to connect with that chakra. For many of you, it's going to be small, very small. The back of your chakra there might feel even completely closed in the back of your body. So today we're going to activate that. I want you to go to the back of your body, between the heart and the solar plexus. And you're going to allow yourself to activate. Go ahead and tune in to the spinal cord, there within the back of the body, in which this chakra connects to. Feel into that space. Feel into that part and allow yourself to expand. Almost as if you're removing the cobwebs. Almost as if you're beginning to rotate that vortex there. Notice emotions that begin to arise in your body, hidden subconscious emotions, hidden subconscious memories, a lot of traumas, collective traumas that you've been holding on to from many lifetimes are going to be resolved here. These are the ones that we've been avoiding for so long. So connect. Go into that vertebrae, into the nervous system that connects to that vertebrae, connecting to all the major organs in your bodies. That's why this is so important, because this chakra connects to the nervous system that connects to all the major organs in the body. It's what nourishes. So begin to expand that back chakra. You're going to see that vortex like a very high-speed tornado or vortex. I want you to expand that vortex as it spins in the back of your body. And as you spin that vortex, you begin to notice that from the vortex stems out the field of this chakra. I want you to begin to familiarize yourself with this field. It's a new layer of your body that you have not been very aware of before. This is the layer of the body in between the third and the fourth. So go ahead and tune into the field. And begin to repair that field. Starting in the back of the body. Look at the layer of your body between the third and the fourth. With your vision, with your awareness, you bring energy into this field. As you begin to repair any openings, tears, I want you to connect the field from the back of that vortex chakra all around you to the front of that vortex chakra. So we're going to take our attention now to that vortex between the heart and the solar plexus. It's almost by the mouth of the stomach, right around there. So go ahead and see that vortex. The front will be easier to visualize for many of you. Go ahead and spin that vortex and begin to create the field emerging from there, expanding from there. You might feel many emotions, almost as if the emotional body is sore for those of you that have been going through a lot of traumas, hard to leave belief systems, thoughts. Lovingly, without judgment, allow whatever needs to come up, and continue to repair this layer of your body. Moving all around your field. Begin to reconnect the front and the back. And you connect it around the top of the body, around the entire perimeter of the body, going down along the left side, along the right side, as you merge these two spheres of this vortex into one toroidal system. Now, this body naturally repairs, naturally expands as you deprogram limiting belief systems and do the shadow work and integrate the lower, the middle, and the higher Dantian. But you are now the master of your body. So you are creating this network in your body. And we're going to go deeper. As you visualize the air entering and leaving your body, not just visualize, feeling in your body, breathing all the way down to the base of the spine. Go into your sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is the one that you're going to want to work on during this phase until April, pretty attentively. Any aspects of our desires, our deepest desires, that we have not become aware of, that we are afraid of, the most primal desires that we have: survival, sexuality, safety. I want you to begin to observe this sacral chakra. All of the deepest, most subconscious layers of yourself that you have stored deep away, that are expressed through the ego. In the search, in the pursuit of love, in the pursuit of acceptance, acknowledgement. Take a look at all those parts of you. As you read your field, right now you are reading your holographic DNA. Look before you at all of these parts of you. We're going to go all the way back from the womb until now. All of the fragmented parts of us. Just observe them. And I want you to tune in to the fear around these desires. You can pick the one that you want to focus on today. Take a look at that desire. Allow it to manifest into a form. What does it look like? What does this part of you feel like? Maintain stillness as you observe all of the emotions through the body. You're going to feel it in your lower abdomen, in your thighs, in your chest. You might feel resistance. Some of you might even feel nauseous. Tuning into these parts. And as you observe this part of you, tuning into those deepest desires, the most primal desires, notice the emotions that come up. Carefully observe. I want you to acknowledge every single emotion that comes up. With every breath you take, breathing through the ebb and flow of each emotion, allowing the body to feel it fully in its entirety, without resistance, without fear. Allowing yourself to receive the information and the messages that each emotion has for you. Breathing. And each emotion having some information for you. Take a moment to observe that information. What is it saying about how you feel about yourself? What is it saying about how you feel about others? How many of your beliefs are rooted in this part of you? How much of what you call your personality is driven by this part of you? Some parts avoiding, some parts expressing. Sit with any discomfort that comes up. Observe any discomfort that comes up until it completely dissipates in your observation. Every memory that comes up, even when if it's a tiny little flash, is a point of reference that's interconnected to this emotional layer that you're uncovering. And you can work with every single one of those memories by asking what you were feeling in that memory. That's how you will know why that came up. The emotions that you feel in those memories that come up are linked and being triggered by this exercise. And they are opportunities to heal. So take a look at your most primal parts. These deep desires. What are they seeking? What is yearning to be satiated by these parts that have been suppressed? And once again, take a look at that part of you that needs to be satiated or that yearns. What does it look like? Some of you might see a tattered self. Some of you might see a self that is scrunched down, that is weak, or maybe even super empowered. Take a look at that part of you. What does it need? Tune into the needs of this part of you. Does it need peace? Does it need safety, protection, love? Does it need acceptance? Go deep into the belly of emotions, into the root of its needs, and identify them. What is it afraid of? You are speaking to the ego part of you now. As you begin to observe this need, and as you identify sub-emotions that begin to arise, take a moment to see what would be the opposite of each of these sub-emotions. Ask if those emotions are being felt by truthful belief system, with truth that is aligned with nature. Are your beliefs that create these emotions rooted in the highest truth? And if not, why? Allow yourself to surrender for a moment. Surrender to any resistance. And face the fears that are hidden there in these sublayers. Do you fear your own impermanence? Do you fear your own irrelevance? Do you fear the dissolution of yourself? What does it mean to be impermanent? Is it true? As you see these parts of you, begin to observe what is true. You begin to see all the reasons why you have held on to this belief systems for so long, to the resistance, to the fears, to the survival, and to the protections. Who is being protected by this? And does that part of you require this protection? Are your needs externalized? Is your worth dependent on something external? This identity that you've created, that you've held on to so closely for so long, does it only exist in order to hold and control external events, people, places, things? And just observe what a temporary illusion that is, and mostly not even true. As you begin to realize that you are the one that can provide yourself with everything that you are actually seeking. You begin to redirect your attention from the external needs, the external desires, opening up a fountain of a never-ending resource within you. So go ahead and see all of these agreements that you have made with yourself to separate these deepest desires, the ones that judge the parts of you that desire love, that desire unity, protection, acknowledgement, safety, connection. And go ahead and provide them with everything that they need. All of these parts of you from the womb until now. And some of you are going to tune into parts of you from past lives that you've been repeating this for so many lives. This pattern of rejecting these desires, judging the desires, being separate from your own occult, from your own subconscious. You are a fractal of what this entire humanity has been suppressing for centuries. Truth. So find all of the ways that you have been suppressing truth within you. And provide them with everything that those parts need in order to no longer suppress. Let them wake up. Let them remember that they are all bodies. They are all dimensions. They are all fractals. They are all light. As you begin to illuminate the many fractals of yourself in simultaneous dimensional timelines that are dormant, you are expanding your light. I want you to begin to visualize your source cord in through the crown of your head, down to the center of your body, illuminating the chakra between the heart and the solar plexus, illuminating the sacral, nourishing with white source light, activating the perineum gate, the gate to the physical, activating the chakra underneath your body into the center of the earth, and activating your connection to the center core of the planet as you channel that source light through the body into the center of the earth. And I want you to see all the layers of your body around you, as many layers as you have access to. You're going to begin to expand your white source light into all those layers, starting at the center of your body, working your way out, illuminating all of the little points in your field, the memory points that you have just reviewed right now with us. As you begin to open up your holographic vision into your multidimensional body, just sense. If you don't visualize, feel and know. The intention to do what I'm instructing is enough for you to do it in higher dimensions. So imagine that your source light is beginning to expand into the different layers of your body, from the first out into the 13th, bringing awareness and consciousness to all the dormant parts of us that have been suppressing these hidden desires, the subconscious mind. And as you see your light body expanding larger and larger all around you, you're going to find it easier to feel peace in your body as you begin to merge the internal wars of separation that reside within you at the cellular level. I want you to speak to your cells now, asking the cells to wake up consciousness, to come into awareness. And you're going to refract the white light into every cell of the body, beginning to dissolve the fears around our deepest desires, which you have just discovered isn't as creative as you might have thought. So if your cells and if your entire body is in agreement, go ahead and allow the cells to begin to dissolve. Neutralize. These desires with love. As you nourish the parts that yearn and transform them into conduits of regeneration. Some of you might have your attention taken down to the sacral, front and back of your body. Just imagine that white light flushing through the sacral as if you're shining a hose of white light that allows the sacral to spin, to release these subconscious blockages. Just let them dissolve. And others of you might have your attention drawn to any other one of the chakras, which indicate to you where you suppress your desires and at the frequency in which you do it. It can be your throat, it could be your third eye, it could be your root, your solar, your heart. Work your way through the body to neutralize the stagnation. As we bring the body into total neutrality, knowing that those desires and those yearnings are all the parts of us that we have ignored. That's all they are. Breathing deeply. As you allow yourself to come into a state of non-judgment and observation, begin to work with the root chakra at the base of the spine. As you open that chakra back into a balanced state, I want you to spin it, releasing, transmuting, going up to the sacral, transmuting, releasing, going up to the solar, transmuting, releasing. Going up into the heart, expanding the heart front and back. Expand that heart chakra. Going up into the throat, expanding that throat chakra. Going up to the third eye, expanding that third eye. You're going to activate your seventh chakra now. Go up into your eighth. And I want you to read your field. What is the color of your highest vibrational signature at this time? Take a look at that. What is this color? Go ahead and saturate into the 8th chakra, filling it in. Sending it down into the 7th, into the areas of your career, your projects, your work, into the area of relationships, into the area of love, into the area of family, children, if you have children, into the area of creation and creativity, into the area of sexual life force, cultivation, into the area of health, vitality, and into the area of purpose, aligning yourself with exactly what you need in order to embody your highest expression. You're going to go up to your 9th, activate the 9th. Activate the 10th. And because this is the area gateway that's being opened, I want you to sit here for a moment and become familiar with what it feels like to be in the 10th dimensional layer. Take a moment to observe the frequencies here, the emotions that come up, the sensations. Go up to your 11th, activate the 11th. Activate the 12th. And you're also going to activate the 12th layer underneath your body as well, into the earth. Activate the 13th. Activate the 14th. Activate the 15th. We're going to go up to 22. Activate the 16th. Breathing into the base of the spine. You are integrating. Don't just feel the 13th. Feel the body. Feel the 13th through the body. The 14th. Breathe the 14th into the body. The 15th. Notice how the heart expands, and so does the chakra between the heart and the solar plexus. The 16th. Feel the 17th through the body. Illness cannot exist in this organism. Feel the 18th. The 19th. The 20th. Activate the 20th underneath your body. Notice how empowering and the amount of surge of energy that runs through the body as you do that. Activate the 21st. Activate the 22nd. So we're going to be working with these chakras. I want you to get familiar with the 22nd. Just take a moment to observe and explore how the body feels in the 22nd. I want you to connect with your cells in your body, activating the 22nd genetic imprint in the body. 22nd DNA strand. bringing the body into the activation of a new frequency. You're going to see a new light. See that light. It's a very warm, gold, purplish, yellow light. I want you to expand that light in your cells, creating a network of this light inside of your body, reconnecting you to the universe, to the collective DNA. Activating this field of consciousness within the morphogenetic field of your body and the whole. Taking your attention to your spinal cord, infusing your spinal cord with the 22nd dimensional frequency. Infusing into the perineum. Activating the center meridian from the perineum to the throat, to the crown, to the 22nd. And you open a gateway through your body. This is a gateway through your ability to channel source through you. Nothing but source. Many iterations of yourself as source. Go ahead and open your eyes, and as you come back into the room, I want you to continue to stay in this state, completely aware of your chakras, 22 underneath, 22 above, 22 at the cellular level, 22 within the morphogenetic field through the body. Okay. Some of you, it's going to feel difficult to come back. That's okay. Allow yourself to open your eyes. I want you to merge it. When you open your eyes, you're activating another sense in your system. So this is where we integrate the non-physical with the physical. So it's almost like you're forcing your vision open. You maintain the feeling, sensation, and the vision. Excellent work, guys. Welcome back. And thank you so much for the beautiful work that you guys are doing. I love you so much. You guys are just a dream. All of you are doing such beautiful work. I want to thank you for the dedication that you put towards this work. We had over 400 people on multiple platforms with us. And the fact that so many of us are doing this work is something that is shifting the collective. And it is a very big deal. And I'm so honored and grateful to work with you souls. You are an extension of this whole. So I'm deeply, deeply humbled and grateful by that. Thank you so much, everyone. So I want to take a look at the chat really quick. We did have a couple questions. I know right now we're holding a really high space and I don't want to lose that space. So maintain that space where you're at. I'm going to go here to the question, Cosmic Diana. Whatever I do turns negative. It's like something is sabotaging me. So just understand that we are the creators of everything and that it's the filtration, the filter that we see the world that maintains us stuck in those states of consciousness. And that when you change your awareness state, you move out of survival victim into co-creator. So this is something that we need to build within us, and so that it becomes an expression externally. Do you have any advice on how to deal with triggers like craving food and drugs? So it's exactly what we talked about today. The deepest desires are the roots, that the parts of you that need something that have not been met, that begin to manifest into addictive behaviors, whatever it is, food, relationships, emotions, sex, all of those things that are being desired is a part of us that has been neglected, wounded, and rejected. So this meditation is perfect for you to identify how to satiate that part and nourish that part of you, like we did today. Understand what is needed, what is being wanted. And then when you identify those wants, you begin to redirect your attention from getting those wants and desires externally to understanding that those wants and desires are internally, fed internally. They can be nourished by yourself. You are the fountain of everything that you need and that you desire at all times, anytime, no matter what state you're in, no matter what state the world is in. You are the center of creation for yourself. Somebody asked a good question about sleep, it says, but I can't find that. Oh, here, why do I feel sleep? Oh, okay, I did answer that one. Yes, lots of exhaustion over the past couple of weeks for many of my clients as well. I think the energies have been really heavy, and just been really awake at all times. I have been feeling so much energy. I don't really feel tired at all. So I'm just very heightened with all of this that's happening interdimensionally, and it nourishes me. Let's see, a question. Hi, Geraldine. Do you think that sometimes we pass? Oh, I answered that already. Okay, guys. Grace, thank you so much for that super chat. Such a generous super chat, Grace. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. If you don't remember the dreams, it's okay. There's a part of us that has not been coming into its full awareness. Train becoming present every moment of your day. And at the end of the night, ask yourself to review every moment of your day. And if you don't remember most of your day, it means you've been sleepwalking all day. It means you've been in hypnosis all day. So more than likely, you're not going to be remembering your dreams either. So the more awareness you bring into your waking state, you will be able to activate the DNA, which is higher dimensional realms, which means that your brain state can enter into higher states, like gamma states, for example, deeper REM states for prolonged levels of time. But remember that we don't only travel in REM state, we travel in all dimensional layers. This is why I want to let you know it's not just about sleep. We're constantly interacting in many dimensional layers. So this will help you train that. Does light stimulation matter? I always feel more connected when it's dark. Yes, it does. It does. And this has to do with trauma states in the body and survival states in the body. Essentially, we should be able to enter deep states, whether it's morning, noon, or night. Okay, but we have to train our nervous system to be able to do that. Angie says, thank you for that super chat, Angie. You're so kind. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. John Peterson says, a couple of months. All right, my loves. Thank you so much. So, Ina Androva, thank you for that super chat. Thank you very much for that. I'm trying to make sure that I'm answering all the questions. Let me come into the Zoom. Guys, how are you guys doing? Do you have any questions? Please jump in. Thank you guys. All right, my loves, Jolie. John says, is there a specific YouTube video you recommend? Okay. Any other questions, guys? All right. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an amazing, amazing day. Please do utilize this meditation as many times as you need to come into this higher dimension. I love you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. And be excited. This is the beginning of something really, really amazing. Okay. All right. Thank you, Esteban. Thank you, Kevin. Love you. Thank you so much. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.